welcome back to my channel. This is a part 2 of my labor and delivery story. Okay, I'll just get into it because you guys probably want to know, well, I mean, if you're watching this, yes, maybe you want to know what happened. So, kind of to go back a little bit. So, around 5 a.m., I'm out of 7. We just changed nurses, got a new nurse, and my mom is on her way to the hospital just to be there for the birth. I wanted her to get like pictures and video, except I don't think I'll ever share those, but I'll keep them for myself. So around 5 a.m. I'm out of 7, and the nurse keeps coming in and like checking on me. They're being kind of vague and not really telling me everything, and maybe it's because they didn't know exactly what was happening and they didn't want to stress me out, but like, just tell me what's going on. So they kept saying, I don't know, stuff like, oh, he's being a little bugger, or he's being stubborn, and I'm like, what do you mean? So I'm like, is everything okay? And she was like, so after each contraction his heart rate is dropping, and typically that can happen, not that, but a heart rate can drop during a contraction, and that's usually fine, but his is dropping after the contraction, and that's not great for the baby. So they were trying to like adjust me, so they would like flip me side to side to see if it would make him happier, get him in a different, I don't know, position, but they kept watching him and nothing was changing, and his heart rate had continued to drop after each contraction. So things happened very quickly, and honestly I didn't feel like, I don't know, I didn't feel like super stressed or scared. I didn't cry. Like, I felt like everything was gonna be okay, like whatever happened. I did mention in my part 1 video that one of my fears was going into labor was that like it would go way too fast and I just like wouldn't be able to process, which did happen. And the other one was that I would just have to get a C-section completely like unplanned. And that almost happened. So things were going really fast. There were lots of nurses or people coming in, and my nurse was like, okay, we are going to get you prepped for a C-section because things aren't looking great for the baby, so we're just going to prep you just in case. Your doctor is not here. The doctor on call is on his way. There was a nurse that like gave Jake scrubs to like hurry and throw these on, so he could be like in the operating room, and they put compression socks on me. They had me drink these like 2 little shots of something that were disgusting. They like totally burned my throat. It was supposed to help like stomach acid or something like that when you get a C-section. I mean, I was just doing whatever was going to be safe for the baby, because at that point he needed to like come out, you know? So I'm doing whatever. They're putting oxygen on me, and Jake says they brought the anesthesiologist in because, you know, they have to numb you more or whatever for the C-section. And he was like, where's the doctor at? Like, I need the doctor here in order to perform, or like to do this. And she's like, he's not here yet, he's almost here. And he was like, I can't do it without the doctor. I mean, I don't know what the protocol is, and I didn't hear that, but that's what Jake says is what happened. So he was like, I can't do that. So the nurse is like, okay, whatever. My nurse is like, okay, like, get out of my way. I'm gonna check you one last time. Like, if you're out of 10, we're gonna start pushing to get this baby out. So I'm like, okay, like praying that I'm out of 10 because I do not want to get a C-section. I mean, I feel like, I mean, I would have done whatever to get the baby out healthy and safe. But I feel like it would have taken longer to like get me all set up for surgery and then get me in there and then get the baby out. Like, in my mind that would have taken longer anyways. But she checks me, I'm at a 10, and I'm like, thank the heavens, like so glad that I'm going to push this baby out. Kind of. So the nurse is like, okay, the doctor's in the parking lot. We're going to start just like practice pushes. My husband is holding my leg. I don't know, he says he's holding both legs like this. The nurse is like helping me push. And she says I'm doing a great job. And she's just very motivating, very, I don't know, like I said, she was very confident in what she was doing. And I'm so glad that she was. And like she called the shots on everything for like my benefit. And I was just so grateful. So I'm starting to push with just Jake and my nurse, and then all of a sudden, like, I feel like a flood of people came in. Nurses, the doctor came in, and also like, what are they called? The doctors that are like watching them, learning, I don't know what they're called. My brain doesn't work. So he comes in and he's like super calm, but tells me like, okay, this is what's going on. We have the NICU team here, you know, just to take a look at him afterwards, just in case anything's wrong. We can use forceps, which is safer for baby, a little more invasive for mom, or we can do vacuum, which is not as safe for baby, but safer for mom or better for mom. He was like, I would do forceps, and I was like, okay, go for it. But just the way that he went about it, he was super calm, but like made sure to tell me exactly what was going on, which I was super grateful for. So then I'm like pushing with all my might, trying to get this baby out so fast because he needs to get out. And they also used forceps. So the whole like pushing was maybe 2 to 5 minutes. And the only hard part about the epidural, like my only like regret, not even regret, but like I wish I would have been able to feel like a little bit, because I totally couldn't tell if I was pushing or not. I was just like trying, but like I was like, am I even pushing? And they were like, you're doing great, you're doing great. So I was like, okay. And my face was like literally a tomato from like trying to push. So I was like, I think I'm pushing, but literally couldn't feel anything. They got him out, and Jake says that the cord was wrapped around his neck and his face was pretty like purple, like right after he came out. But I didn't see him right after he came out, like right after, but the doctor, Jake said the doctor like got it off way quick, and then I remember him like immediately crying and like being put up on me. So that was like very relieving that he was crying and that he like seemed good. Jake was able to cut the cord, and then they did take him to the NICU team, you know, just to make sure everything was okay, and he was perfect. He was crying, he was breathing, and everything looked great. And the doctor was like, things, to be honest, like things were not looking good, and I was really nervous, but he looks great and you did an awesome job. And like honestly, the on-call doctor was like amazing, and I'm so glad that he actually delivered my baby over my doctor. Is that bad to say? Like he was so awesome, and just like I'm so grateful for what he did. So then they're stitching me up. I tore 2nd degree tear. We'll talk about postpartum in another video. So I'm getting stitched up, and Jake's over there looking at the baby with my mom, and I don't know, I think about it now and I'm like, it just seems so surreal. And for some reason I'm like, feel emotional now, and I didn't like feel that emotional then. I was just like so grateful that he was like what, we have a baby and like he's healthy. Like I think I was more in shock. And now like having the baby for 6 months and like building that bond and relationship, I just like, I guess I think about it and I get way more emotional because like I love him so much. He was 7 pounds 6 ounces and 20 inches long. He was bigger than I feel like I thought. I don't know, before he's born, like when me and Jake when we just got to the hospital, I was like, what do you think he's gonna weigh. And he was like, oh, I feel like he's gonna be like 6'11", 6'13", or something like that. And I was like, I think he's gonna be like 7.5 pounds. Like, I feel gigantic. So I was closer. But he was perfect. His name is Ace. I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram. I post enough about him. I probably should take it back a notch, but he's our little Acey boy, and he is just the best thing of our lives ever. Birth was kind of scary. It definitely wasn't what I had anticipated. I guess I anticipated not like blissfully pushing, but like I'm like, I know I'm gonna get the epidural and whatever, so like just like taking my time and really like taking the moment, and it just wasn't like that. And I feel like that's just how it goes. You never know how it's gonna go, and it's a wild roller coaster. It's a wild thing. But after that, they gave him to me, and I was just able to hold him in the room for, I don't remember how long we were in the room for, but I was just able to hold him. And then I remember, I think a nursing specialist came in and like tried to get him to start feeding or something. I don't know, it's like such a blur. I'll have to gather my thoughts about what happened after labor and delivery, because that's a whole nother thing. And I remember when I was pregnant, I would look up like what even happens like at the hospital, like after you have your baby. So I think I'll make a video on that as well. But that is the birth story. It was fast, it was a little chaotic, but he got here safe and sound, and we love our little Ace, man, so much. He's still asleep. I was gonna say I'll bring him in, but he's still asleep. I thought he'd wake up. So anyways, that is the birth story. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video if you liked it, and hit the subscribe button. I am planning on uploading once or maybe twice a week. Once is like, I don't know, I told you that now, so I feel like I'm committed, you know. But there will be new videos every week. So if you have any requests, I do have a bunch of ideas of what I'm gonna do, but I don't have like a bajillion. So if you have any requests, please leave them below. If you have any questions for me, please leave them below. And yes, we will see you next time. Bye!